Hey everybody, Zach Wolf here with another great Top 5 Tuesday. I'm here outside the beautiful 1910 courthouse in downtown Houston, Texas. This is now where they have the appellate courts in Houston, but back in the day there were trial courts in here. Anyway, I'm talking about the top 5 mistakes I see experienced lawyers making in the courtroom. Now, I did a video before about mistakes that less experienced lawyers make in the courtroom. So I thought it would be good to be fair and to point out that very experienced lawyers also make mistakes in the courtroom. The number 5 mistake they make is focusing too much on being right rather than being persuasive. Now, this is especially a hazard for very experienced lawyers because they know a lot. And when it's a subject that they know a lot about, they usually have pretty strong views about it. And if they're making an argument they really know is right, they tend to make it in a certain way, regardless of what is going to be persuasive to the audience, whether that audience is the judge or a jury or an arbitrator or whoever it is. So I think more experienced lawyers need to be careful about correcting for their bias, and they need to think about what's going to be persuasive, even if it's not the thing that I think should be most persuasive. The number 4 mistake more experienced lawyers make in the courtroom is interrupting. Now, younger lawyers, less experienced lawyers, are usually going to be reluctant to interrupt the judge, right? But for whatever reason, more experienced lawyers, maybe because they have more confidence, will often interrupt the judge. And by the way, one gender maybe tends to do that a little more than the other, just a hunch. Interrupting the judge is usually a bad idea. Yeah, you might have an important point you want to make, but save it for later, because interrupting is just likely to irritate the judge. The number 3 mistake more experienced lawyers make is kind of related to number 4, and that is dodging questions from the judge. When the judge asks you a question, it's probably a good idea to try to answer the question directly, even if you think the judge is asking the wrong question. You can always later try to steer the judge back to what the court should be focusing on. But dodging a question from the judge is usually not a good idea. This may be a good idea for politicians on TV talk shows, but in the courtroom, not so much. The number 2 mistake I see more experienced lawyers making is being unorganized. Now, this one might be a little surprising because you'd think that the more experienced you are as a lawyer, the more you'd realize the importance of being organized. But I think maybe a lot of times more experienced lawyers think that taking the time to be organized, maybe it's beneath them. I don't know, but it's surprising how often I'll see a very experienced lawyer in the courtroom who is not organized with the documents they have in the courtroom, with having the copies they need to hand to opposing counsel or the judge. Those are kind of boring things, but if you get them wrong, they can be very frustrating for your audience and make your presentation less persuasive. Finally, the number 1 mistake that more experienced lawyers make in the courtroom is seeing everything your way. To be really effective, you need to be able to see things from the perspective of other people, whether that's the perspective of the judge or the jury or the witness or opposing counsel or your client or the other client on the opposing side. You will be more effective in the courtroom if you are willing to see things from other people's point of view. That seems obvious, but it seems like as lawyers gain experience, they often become more set in their opinions and less empathetic towards other people. So those are my top 5 mistakes that I see more experienced lawyers making in the courtroom. Is there one I missed that you've seen? Let me know. And hey, thanks for watching.